have dogs, and sorry. I remember when I first started getting out of my comfort zone, the very first thing I did, we had a Lumi sale, or I was trying to sell a Lumi, and Julie's like, just take a picture with it. Just take a picture and put it in your stories. So I did. And let me tell you, I about threw up when I put my picture of myself in my stories. And now if you follow my stories, you're gonna be like, oh my God, she was nervous about a picture. Um, and what happens is once you do it, once you start showing up, or once you get it in your head that this is how you're going to catapult and find the success that you want, whatever that may be, it becomes easier. Now, there's always things when I know that something is making me nervous. I know, okay, Stacey, you need to do it. So what I did is I tried to figure out like what do I do that anyone would want to watch? We'd have to stop. That's not even important what you do that people want to watch. People are voyeurs. I mean, watch these dang Love Islands. Like people are obsessed with all this reality, and we're like our own little reality on Facebook. And I think if you can get out of your way thinking that you have nothing to share, that's just not true. I don't know what you do, but you have something that people are going to watch, and they're going to become interested in your life. So for me, I have three dogs, and two of them show up a lot on my social media. I started going to Sonic every day to get Diet Coke. Once I quit and my full-time job and work here, it's like, okay, I'm addicted to Diet Coke. It's one of my vices. And so every day we would go to Sonic. I'd get out of the house, and lo and behold, this gal at Sonic named Melanie started giving my dogs bacon every single day. Well, I'm just going to tell you that my customers still ask me about Melanie. Melanie was in my stories for Monday through Friday for 2 years, and Melanie has since quit Sonic and gone somewhere else. But that's how invested people get, that people remember Melanie's name. Like and that's it. I would show up with my dogs. So now Melanie's gone, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Melanie's gone from Sonic. I just talk. I don't talk about anything. You guys are welcome to look at my page. I don't really talk much about anything. What I don't plan anything. I sit in the Sonic parking lot, and whatever comes to mind comes to mind. Sometimes it's weddings, sometimes it's kids, sometimes it's new skin. Of course, I always plug on Sonic because I work from home now and I don't have to go to the office. So that's how I started showing up. Is just showing life. And I thought my life was boring. I mean, yeah, I love my life, don't get me wrong, but I had the misconception that what I had to offer the world was unimportant. And that is such a strong misconception that we all have, I know. So I would tell you, just show up as you, because you are going to attract your people. And I don't want to attract Lisa's people. I don't want to attract Danielle's people. I want to attract my people. And so when you show up authentically, that's what's going to happen. Best part so far. For me, I think the best part, honestly, when I started, I just wanted some extra money, and then I loved the community. And then what I found is I have three adult children, and all of a sudden, my adult children are taking notice of what I'm doing and noticing that mom is in her 50s. So I'm 55. I mean, theoretically, I am like on this slippery slope of not having, a job. But for me, this has been so life-changing for my kids. So my kids did go to, they've been on, all of them went on to Jamaica, and that's where Tina got engaged. But seeing all the people, all the community, and seeing what I'm accomplishing, I can remember Tanner or Connor, he's my oldest. When I first started New Skin, everything started showing up on my Facebook profile, and Connor's in sales, and he's my 29-year-old, and he sent me a message. He's like, "Are you in my wheelhouse now, Mom? What are you doing?" And so what I have found is the second Christmas that I was with New Skin, if you were at an event, you might have seen this. But my kids, when they said, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, "I just want you guys to write me a letter." That's it. I love letters. I always write letters to my kids. So I had letters from my three kids and now my daughter-in-law. And every single one of them, every one of them talked about how me doing this, changing the trajectory of my life and chasing my dreams, how it has influenced them to chase theirs, to do something different and to dream bigger. And so for me, the best part of New Skin is opening my children's eyes that are young adults, that they don't have to be stuck in a toxic workplace for 30 years like I was, that they can dream bigger. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm 60. It doesn't matter if I was 40. That's the best part to me, is what I am teaching my children, because that all that we ever want for our kids is for them to do what they love and for them to love their life. And so giving them permission to do that, and having them see me never give up, because where I'm going is the top. I will be a team elite. I 100%, and I will be the best over 50 team elite there is. And my children will see that, and they will know that anything is possible at any age ever. So that's my why, and that's the biggest part of New Skin, and why I love it so much, is what it's showing my children. I think I covered.
Stacey, I just want to say something, like when you give permission to your kids to do, like to chase after their dreams. If you look, like, how many of you are in positions that are either like similar or maybe just a little stretched past where your families were, right? Like I know I was like 5,000%. And so now my kids are dreaming of things that they can make money on their own. Like they're dreaming up their own businesses. They're dreaming up ways to make money on because we talk a lot about like, that's your gift, or that's your, your skill. And you can make, like, my gifts are worthy of massive compensation. And so, my little guy will say like, well, I'm the best hockey player. Like I'm going to get paid to do that. Like I want him to think that. I want him to run for that. And it doesn't have to be in the form of like NHL or anything like so specific. He could open his own hockey school, or like, fill a void there. But if I had made that shift, if Stacey had made that shift, if you're not going to make that shift, and I'm not talking about quitting your job today, you got to be in the right place for it. But what are your kids going to watch, right? What level are they going to take their dreams? I know I cut you off. You were going into another.
No, I think that's one of the most important. And what I will say for people that have younger children, like, I don't have regrets, because I think living in regret, that's a waste of time and energy, and that doesn't get you anywhere. But I think of the ones that have children that are younger, like this opportunity, like you have this like Lisa's kids, you have this opportunity to show them starting early. Like my kids are in their 20s, which is still great, and I'm glad that they are seeing it. But like the opportunity for you to give your kids permission at an early age is just magical. It can be magical for what it can do for your children. I love what I do. I love the opportunity. I love the monetary. I love the trips. I love all of that. But I'm just you'll never see me quit, just because I want my children to have that dream of whatever it is, not New Skin, whatever it is. But the opportunity for you guys with younger children too, like you just get a head start on what I've already been doing, is giving permission. So I think this opportunity, whatever you want it to be, part of it can be that you're chasing dreams and your kids are seeing that.
So I also want to touch on a couple different things. You said something really powerful and really confidently, which I say behind the scenes, but I haven't really said in front of my team, or haven't said in a long time. And so I just want to thank you for empowering me to say something along these lines as well. But you said, I quit my job in 8 weeks because I went really hard with shout outs. And some people will say that they don't work, and some people will say that they don't work. And a lot of you probably are thinking, well, my shout outs haven't been working, or they won't work, or all the things. But if you're really milking the shout outs, and if you're really laser focused and going hard on those, like if you've got to lose 10 pounds for a beach vacation, like you're figuring it out, right? You're doing all the things. You're not just skipping the chocolate bar after dinner. You're probably going for walks and runs. You're lifting weights. Like you're doing all the things. You're not just like, oh, well, I stopped eating chocolate, but I gained 5 pounds. Like what happened, right? You're not half doing them. And while they work, regardless of the level that you do them, if you're thinking bigger, and if you're like, I don't want to do this job forever. Personally, that would be my top recommendation as well. I quit my job. I got fired actually, but I was able to not get another job after that, after going really hard with shout outs for, it was about 9 weeks. It wasn't even a full 9 weeks because it does take some weeks to get some momentum, right? So I just want to thank you for that. I wanted to tap on that because you said it so confidently, right? Like, no, shout, like, and they do work. And chances are your business is still moving because of shout outs that you've done in the past, but also because you're likely continuing them or people on your team are continuing them. You know, it's a cycle that for the people that are doing them, they're working. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is I noticed, and not because I follow you every day, but when I would start thinking like, oh, I wonder what Stacey's up to, and because we've worked together in groups before, like in masterminds, we had that privilege. I noticed a change in your social media. I noticed a change in how you showed up in photos. I noticed how you are showing up in stories. And so even though I'm like, oh, she's really like the attractor factor is there. Tell me how that impacted your business for people that maybe didn't notice the switch or the shift, right? Like the customers or the people that are watching, but how did it impact your relationship, your volumes, your revenues? Like what things were you doing and how did that transpire into your business specifically? And I know you talked about trust building, but like what does that look like in business terms?
Well, I will say that I 100%, I have a great customer base and I have a great VIP group. But I believe that, and Julie, if Julie were here, she would speak on it because when we here in the US did our hard launch, okay, so in December we did a preview of the Renew Spa, and I was like, I didn't go as hard as I should have. Like I just didn't I did, but then when it was over and I saw all this, I had FOMO of like all these people. So I started thinking in December, okay, I am going to be one of the top um, producers of Renew Spas. I'm going to sell the most Renew Spas in February, I think is when it was. And I just said that over and over again. I showed up in my stories. I showed up on my social media every single day, every day. There are not very many days that I don't show up uh, at all. And what I think, why I think I was number two in I think it was all of North America. I is because of my social media, it's because of showing up. I 1000% believe that we have this simple system and it's like this big circle of things that we do. Yeah, shout outs are a part of it. That's amazing. And it's the things and the business shares. But I'm telling you, showing up so people can see you and trust you. I show up and I believe that's why people trust me. So that's why when we have drops on the Renew Spa, I think I sold 102, which is insanity. And if you would have asked me if I was going to sell 102, no, I just wanted to be one of the top producers of it. I just had it in my mind. And if you ask me how, I don't know how. It's just that I show up and I live authentically. And do I have to share like problems? Like we all have crap. We all have crap. I mean, we all have crap. I don't show that necessarily. I mean, I'm not afraid to be vulnerable, but I show up and true to me and what I want to show. So if there's something bothering me, I'll put it out there. If it's something that I don't want anyone to know, well, then I'm not going to share that. But showing up on social media is what gets me where I'm at 100%, because I have built this trust with people and I'm authentic and I'm not like this perfect person because I, first of all, am not. And I just know that that's not what anyone wants to see. They don't want to see a perfect house, a perfect whatever. I mean, just not. And so, how that has impacted me is I have customers that I am close with, like I make a connection with because that is so important. And they truly 100% feel like they know me. So when Tanner just got married, I can't even tell you the amount of customers that have reached out to me talking about, the dress I wore or how beautiful the flowers were or whatever it was about the wedding that they loved. And that's because I work on these connections with them and I work on showing up and showing them who I am. So to answer that, Lisa, I just think that when you show up, people trust you and they eventually want to join your team and they will almost purchase anything you give to them because they have that trust in you and what you're about and who you are because you're showing up every day.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. And I've built my entire business on simple system. And then, like you said, in this kind of holistic way, we nurture our people and our customers, and we get them other products, right? Like we bring them in on a small item, whether they're in our network already or they're from a shout out. But I mean, so many of you came from shout outs, even just as customers. So like take note of that, right? So if you're a victim of the shout out, right? You actually don't have permission to say that they don't work. Like it's just that simple, right? If you're like, dang it, I came from a shout out. Like, yeah, we got you, right? So it works. And then also we're seeing some of you who I've been working more closely with and really tailoring your content to being really personal. I'll just for example, like Crystal and Kelsey, because they're on my front line and I've been working with them. I've asked them, like, no selling in your stories. Like for a week, just don't sell in your stories, or like, make it very little, but just be personal, show up with whatever you're doing. Kelsey's been tailoring her content on her wall to like not just saying that she's baking, but like she's baking, right? Like she's in her story, she's in her content. Crystal's been sharing about her dad and his recovery. He's doing really well, thankfully. And this green tank top that she bought, she's like, I need 6 more because good things happen. And she's talking about the good things that have been happening in her life, in her business, not over specific, but just kind of some general stuff, getting some plants on sale, or you know what, like Stacey said, some really random stuff, right? And what they're seeing is Crystal has had multiple people agree to start their business and partner with her. Kelsey had like, I think it was like 15 people say yes to more information about the business and chat with her, getting 3 girls started in their like with private groups and first posts and all of these things are happening. And it's only been since they've made a really short period of time shift. So this doesn't have to take forever, but it does have to be you. It has to be content that's you. So I'm gonna like challenge everyone, not that you can't sell in your stories, not that you can't show up with your well spa or your Lumi or all the things, but when you're there with them, talk about things that are personal. Stop trying to sell people this week. Okay? Just really show up in your groups too, like where you can be selling people, be giving a call to action and an invite to join your group. I have photos from yesterday where I'm going to be posting of Julia and I and say, if you want to see what we got up to today, which made everybody in the house super stoked, you'll have to tap into Flirting with 40 to see what we got up to, right? Like we're carrying bags and we made lasagna. That's all it is. But we're just driving curiosity. We're driving people in. They know her. They know me. They just want more. And Stacey, I commented in here just because I wanted to remember it, but you literally said like, this girl, Melanie, I remembered her name, just so you know. When you said, I was like, oh my God, Melanie, with the bacon. Every day, I would be like, is Stacey seriously talking about this diet pop and the bacon with the dogs? And she'd be like, well, guys, we're at Sonic again today. Got gas and we're at Sonic. And my initial thought was like, when is this going to run out? Like, is she gonna, like, why is she still going every day to get this bacon for the dogs? And then I got hooked. And I would be like sitting there and I would think to myself, I wonder if Stacey went and got the bacon today. I wonder if Melanie's there today, right? So like, don't underestimate the power of something that's so simple,
Repetitive. Yeah,
right?
I know. And I just started talking about different things at Sonic. So it's even if you're doing the same thing, you can talk about something different while doing the same thing. And it's funny. People know me for the dogs, the bacon, and Sonic.
When I think of you, I think of your dogs and your stories. Honestly, like I like subconsciously, it's just like, whoop. Okay, if you could leave these ladies with one thing, you know what? Can I actually, instead of that, can you just talk very briefly about the power of being Ruby and what that looks like for you? Like why was that an important piece of your business? And I know you just mentioned to me in our text conversation that you're like, no, I'm changing that. Like, I know you're going Emerald, Diamond, Blue Diamond, Team Elite, but why was Ruby such a foundational piece for you? And like, how has that impacted your income and your business?
Well, I think in the beginning you just want to selfishly, you just want to rank up. You want to do better in your business. But what happens is for me, and I think for most people, is you evolve and you realize that what this has done for me, like this could do this for other women and men too. But and I think knowing that that's what it does is being able to help other people other change their lives in whatever capacity, because let's be real, changing your life can be paying your electric bill or paying your groceries or whatever, but changing your life could also be leaving a toxic work environment, helping someone make a life change in a different. I have a gal who's made a significant life change because it's the best for her and her kids, and being a part of that and being able to help someone financially or figure out financially how to be able to do that, there's just no greater feeling than helping other people. I love Nu Skin. I love the products, but I go back to that the best product we have is the opportunity for people to change their lives. And I think of where I was 3.5 years ago and where I'm at now, I don't ever want to go back, ever, ever. So any hard day that we have here is so worth, it's so much better than any hard day back in my previous life. And one thing that I would say is believe in yourself, like claim it. Talk to your mentor, say, this is what I am doing, put it out in the universe, and then believe and follow through with your actions and your personal development. I didn't mention that, and that's so important. But anybody can do any of this. Anybody, like anyone sitting right here can be me, and well, you're not going to be me, but you can do what Lisa does. You can do what anyone, what Danielle, anyone, hands down. It's not rocket science. It's believing in yourself, being coachable, and just chasing your dream. 100%.
And I actually think they could do it better than I could ever. Like I look around at all
100.
of you and it's kind of like your kids, right? You see so much for their future. You see them in their highest potential. And I truly look around this table of women and I just think, wow, they don't even realize they're so much better than what they think they are. Like it's kind of crazy to see you all unlocking these little pieces. And I always pray to be partnered with people who are better, right? You want to onboard people that are better than you, that are going to teach you. And I feel like I'm learning something every day from everybody. And when you talk about personal development, that's something I know that you've been really just consistent with. Same with me. I do 100% believe that you should work on yourself harder, 10 times harder than you work on your business, because when you go to work in your business, you're bringing what stories and what blueprints you have to this point. I do want to talk, while we're talking about showing up, Stacey, I don't know if you've read this book,
No,
Worthy.
I don't think I have.
So this was our book of the month. What is it now? 2 months ago, May, possibly, or June? No, April or May. Anyways, this one, I'm actually reading like the actual hardcover book format again, because the Audible it just doesn't do it justice. When you sit and actually read the words on the page, they keep hitting me harder and harder and harder. And believing that you are worthy of the things that you are desiring or the goals that you're creating, right? Like the goal that you're creating for yourself, I want to be Ruby. I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to make $5,000 a month. I want to make an extra $1,000 a month. Like whatever that is, you can truly only be paid or recognized to the level that you believe you can be paid and recognized to. Like you can say, I want $100,000 a month. I want to be Ruby. But if you don't truly believe that you're worthy and maybe not even capable, it's like you got to read the book. I can't do the message justice. And I'm like huge into like girl empowerment. And at first I'm like, I'm not really going to get it because like I'm confident and like I know I can do this business and like all the things. Be open because this has like completely shattered my existence before I read it. It's an incredible book. Stacey, I think you'll love it
I wrote
if
it
you
down
grab
for
it. I
it
think you'll
today.
love it.
Yeah.
Actually, as a thank you, I'd love to send this to you. So send me your address
Oh,
and I'll send
perfect.
that up to you. Does anybody have any questions? I'm gonna stop the recording That way we can tell all the juicy stuff.